So, The View's new BFF, Marjorie Taylor Greene, announced last Friday that she's stepping down from Congress. And former Speaker Kevin McCarthy is warning his party that a lot of Republicans are planning to follow her out the door. Watch.
She's almost like a canary in a coal mine. And this is something inside Congress they better wake up, because they're going to get a lot of people retiring and they got to focus. I think keeping members out of Congress, you only get 2 years to be in the majority. And if the Democrats get you not to work every day for 2 months, that's losing 2 months of the majority.
So reportedly, a lot of Republicans are tired of the MAGA loyalty tests and the death threats they're getting if they don't fall in line. So they're on the way out. Could this finally be the beginning of the end of Trump's hold on Congress? What do you think?
So my actual BFF, not Marjorie Taylor Greene, though she's delightful, Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News was reporting that he heard from a lot of senior Republican aides on Capitol Hill, and one of them said more explosive early resignations are coming. Mike Johnson's going to be stripped of his gavel before his term is out. So keep in mind that the midterms aren't until next November. There's still a year left. Marjorie Taylor Greene stepping down before then, bringing the House majority to just basically one vote over what they need to pass anything. And I think it's bigger than the Trump factor of it, though there's tremendous frustration with the White House. Congress feels like all their authority has gone there. They don't have any say in things. But I also think it's that Republicans see the writing on the wall. So we saw this report that came out. Democrats are favored on a generic ballot in the midterms by 14 points. They get that they're going to lose the majority. It's kind of only a matter of time.
So that's why they're jumping ship.
And some of them have described being in Congress as being a potted plant. I think this exercise of going through a shutdown where you go home to your constituents and you say, oh, yeah, I can't do anything. Like, we haven't been in session for months. I wouldn't be shocked that we could actually see the House majority flip before the midterms actually happen.
But I think Anna, doesn't Trump have any sort of like feeling about this, that he's causing this?
I don't know. He's busy figuring out, you know, who he court-martials, who he attacks on Twitter. But I mean, I think that the reason they feel like potted plants is because they are potted plants, because they have ceded their authority. They have forgotten, Republicans in Congress, that they are an independent, co-equal branch of government. And so, look, don't complain about being treated like garbage when you behave like garbage. Don't complain about being trampled upon when you behave like an old rug. So, yeah, they have issued no oversight over Trump's abuses of power, no pushback, no guardrails. And so, yes, why wouldn't Trump ignore them and treat them like garbage if he knows that they are feckless, fickle congresspeople who will rubber stamp any harebrained abuse of power idea that he has?
Not to use another... We're at our dinner table.
I think Anna's completely right, because the issue is not so much that Congress is not a co-equal branch of government. I think this president has overreached so much that they have been left with no ability to oversee the executive branch or oversee anything. They weren't able to pull off you know, the Affordable Care Act, you know, subsidies. They haven't really been able to do anything because Trump doesn't allow them to do anything. And the Supreme Court has said it's okay.
No, but well, there's only they have the ability. They just don't have the willingness to confront Trump. They don't have. They've ceded.
They have
their ability.
I mean, they haven't done it. They can't. They're all just sort of useless.
Well, and there's a lot of ceremonial stuff, just like President Trump keeps calling for investigations. Last week, there was 6 censures last week. That's more than the entire 118th Congress ever had. That was in 1 week. So
Who are they censuring?
Stacey Plaskett,
you name it, like
Chul Garcia. I mean, it's weed.
It loses again. It dilutes the power of anything when you do it all the time. But I would also think any politician. This is in addition to what you're both saying about kind of that they've ceded power. I also think you take good people. I've known good people that I've said, "Oh, I would vote for you if you ran." I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
I know.
Because now you see what they do. They go, it's like the energy of a new teacher going into a school. They want to impress upon young people. They have all these dreams, and then the administration crumbles them to the ground and squishes them. And that's what happens here. You've got good people going with big thoughts, and the bureaucracy, the fecklessness, the lack of leadership, the skewed lines, the inconvenient truth of a constitution, you can't do anything.
I do wonder what happens when because I agree with you. I think the Democrats will take the House. What will happen then? How did the Democrats work with Trump?
So that becomes interesting, and I think you're already kind of seeing the writing on the wall. My other prediction, I don't know why I'm making Thanksgiving predictions here, but a lot of Trump administration officials raised their hand to serve when he was sworn in January. But the closer it gets to Dems likely taking the House back, I think you're going to see some administration resignations because Democrats will once again have oversight authority.
Yeah.
And I think when
I can't
they
wait
feel
to see
like there's
Hakeem Jeffries as the House
yeah,
Speaker,
when they
I'll
feel
tell you
like
that.
there's some stepping on some executive overreach, you're going to see people who are hauled before Congress. But this I do put squarely on Congress and not as much the White House, which is like, know your power, the power of the purse. When Doge came in, it had cuts across the board and ended congressional appropriations. They gave up their power. And even we were talking yesterday's show about like war-making authorizations. That is a distinct congressional power, and they've given that to the White House. So I don't really feel bad for them that they're now sitting around like, I guess we name post offices and censure people. What else are you going to do?
Do the Democrats then take it back?
And listen, if the Democrats become the majority, it means the Democrats then are the chairs of all of the committees. It means they set the schedule. It means they set what hearings are going to happen, what investigations are going to happen. It means that Republicans are now in the minority, which is a hard thing. If you've been in the majority, to go back into being in the minority is a hard transition. They're going to go from being potted plants to being dead potted plants.
Well, I think
like when you haven't, watered them.
But when you serve in a President Trump term, I think so many rode in with his endorsements that they kissed the ring early, which means you ceded every power you had taking office.
And it's terrible because I think most people don't realize, Congress people only serve for 2 years.
Thank God.
Only 2 years.
Get them out.
Or the term is for 2 years. Some of them have been there forever. But for 2 years. And so, if you don't work for 2 months out of the 2 years, like the former speaker said,
But it's a reminder that your voters are your bosses, because in 2 years you're up for review.
Yeah.
And you better be aware of what you did and didn't do while you were there.
Correct.
But if they stand up to Trump, if the Republicans stand up to Trump like Marjorie Taylor Greene did on Epstein, they will suffer her same fate of then being threatened by her and targeted by her and
maybe this
losing
is
a primary.
Maybe this is wrong to say on Turkey Day, but isn't he a lame duck at this point?
I believe you mean lame turkey. But by the way, to that point is if you're somebody, you shouldn't be running for office to stay in power forever. Run for 2 years and vote how you actually believe and let the chips fall where they may. If Trump comes after you, if a different president does,
but they don't want to do that because then they have to find another job. Remember Tom DeLay was, what is he, a funeral director or something?
He was on Dancing with the Stars.
And then he was on that.